All right, go.
Fred, we on?
Yep.
Meeting will come to order, please. The notice requirements for the Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. We will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Attention, salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Johanna, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Becker,
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg.
I am here.
We have before us for approval the minutes of our meetings on December 7th. What is your pleasure?
I'll make a motion we approve those. Second.
Mayor Becker.
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg.
Yes.
We will now open to public comment. You have 3 minutes. You may speak on any subject. State your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Stephen Benson. I live at 302 North Nassau Avenue here in wonderful Margate, New Jersey. I'm a new resident. I've been here for 2 years from upstate New York, and so far I'm having a good time. But I'm here because I have been talking with Public Works since last April. And fortunately for you, it has nothing to do with dunes, but I have a curb in the front of my house that is over a collar that has obviously been damaged. I have pictures to show you, if I can do that. And this area gathers a tremendous amount of water. The curb height, actually, at the dip, is 6.75 inches, whereas the rest of the curbing in front of my home averages 5 inches. And water, because the area where I live off of Amherst Avenue, I'm the second house in, we frequently flood because of the rains that we have down here. And that water gathers for days afterwards. And during the flooding, that water comes onto my lawn, which isn't unusual on my street, but I happen to have, I think, a worse situation than most of my neighbors. So I've been calling to try to get at least somebody to come up and examine the situation to see if that dip in the collar of the road can be leveled off so that the curb will hopefully retain, I hate to say normal amounts of water because we never seem to get normal amounts, but if it can at least retain the water that typically comes after a rainstorm. And I have pictures of the area.
We'll take the pictures. No, nice on your. I really don't need the pictures. We'll have somebody there within 2 or 3 days. I say tomorrow, but it's the weekend coming up. I don't.
Right.
We'll have somebody look at that, assess what's going on, and we'll get back to you, Mr. Bernstein. If you could just leave me your name and telephone number. Okay. We're in the process of doing a curb program for problems similar to yours, so we'll be happy to go out and assess that. And I'm sorry nobody took care of you before this.
No, I've been, I guess the best word is misdirected. I even wound up calling the engineering company. I was asked to do that.
That's the right one. That's where you should be.
And the engineering company just had no awareness of the situation.
I don't think it is.
I have it. Let me look it up.
They called back to tell me that, my address
Yeah, I got it.
was not on a list that they had.
Okay. If you could leave me your phone number, we'll be happy to take care of that for you.
Sure.
And we'll let you know what can be done, okay?
Leave that with Johanna?
Yeah, just give it to Johanna.
Thank you.
That was painless, wasn't it?
Well, I didn't anticipate too much.
You haven't been here before. That's funny.
Any other public comment?
246.
Sewell 22 West Drive. Mayor, the lead story in today's Current, the retirement plans of the school superintendent, represents a golden opportunity to finally rein in the ever-escalating cost of government. Mayor, you have refused to contain the waste and spending, and despite having 30 to 35 million per year in new ratables, you still opted to increase property taxes, while seniors simply can't pay taxes that go up far faster and far higher than their Social Security checks, and wind up with tax liens at a usurious, unconscionable 18% APY. Mayor, man up and do the right thing for a change, and under absolutely no circumstances replace the school superintendent. His position is and has been a superfluous and redundant, costly position. Mayor, you are bound by the sworn oath of office you took to uphold the New Jersey State Constitution that clearly, expressly stipulates and mandates a thorough and efficient education. Mayor, you must insist that the Board of Education opts for a principal/administrator for the ever-dwindling handful of students. And furthermore, it's long overdue to consolidate and right-size the schools to just one, preferably the more modern and more easily renovated third floor of Ross. It's a piece of cake, and it should be done this year, Mayor. It's long overdue to consolidate. You're going to have to bite the bullet sooner or later, so why dilly-dally and procrastinate? Do it this year. Senior citizen taxpayers simply can't afford your wasteful, spendthrift spending. It's high time to live up to your campaign promises and pledges to hold the line on taxes. With the bogus casino pilot giveaway program, the county taxes have been increasing as a result, and it makes reduction of local taxes even more critical and urgent. The time to act is now. Make the tough decisions that will help to make Margate affordable for your fellow octogenarians who simply can't afford any increases in property taxes. Furthermore, the idea of a special education teacher, it's an insane idea. Farm those 1 or 2 students out to Ventnor. It'll save a bundle of money and preclude being saddled with employees that we simply don't need. And I think on this note, we should begin to explore greater shared services with Ventnor.
Thank you, John. Any other public comment?
Art Cotilli, 114 North Lancaster Avenue. And I don't often agree real strongly, but I strongly agree with what you heard from John. This is the perfect opportunity not to fill that position. To add a few more things to it, there were 7 items that were brought to our attention that we were extremely high in spending according to the state. And the first one was administrative costs for the school. And to do this and not fill this position would really bring that down so we won't look so bad. I know that Mr. DiNicola used to like to say that, well, these 7 items that we came up high on was just a means for the state to allow us all to share this information. Now, I'm a nice guy, but I think there's a lot more to it than just him wanting to share this information that we're well overspent. So we can correct the number 1 item. The second item is certainly another item that John mentioned, was the building maintenance. And if you have 1 building rather than 2, you're going to really take this down to where it should be. And the building we should have, I know there's talk to keep Thai school, but it's a 62-year-old building. It was built to the old fire codes, the old asbestos codes, the old plumbing codes. Yeah, they can go and check for asbestos once a year or twice a year, but and it doesn't show anything. But once it shows something, it's too late. You now have it in the air, and your students have breathed this in for at least 6 months since it was measured before. And this is scary. I don't think we want to wait till it happens and then say, well, now it happened. You have Ross, was built in 2000. It's 17 years old, which is a relatively new building, and I'm sure it's going to take care of all of our students. So our cost per pupil will also go down, which is another tremendous thing where we're well overspent. We're down to 13 and 14 kids in a class in all of Thai, 13 and 14 in every room. That's pretty sad. And a little known item of this tax bill that was just passed is a little thing that's going to allow people who don't use public schools but use other schools to be able to write this off as a cost saving when they do their income tax. So I think that's not going to be a positive for public schools. I think it's going to be a further negative. So we're only going to go down from here. The trend is down. So let's go into one school, make that school Ross.
Thank you, Art.
Steve Warner, 103 North Sumner Avenue. I'd say I'd like to largely agree with Art and John. The only thing is, I don't agree in the sense that this is a golden opportunity to get the school board or to get the schools under control. They are still out of control. I think you've done a much better job with the city as a whole, but the schools are off the hook. And number one, if there's going to be, I think by statute you have to have a superintendent. So the new superintendent should be somebody that is fiscally responsible, not somebody who's going to give the teachers everything they want, okay? And which becomes like, so let's not get somebody in-house, all right? Let's get somebody from the outside, number one. Number two, get somebody that has some idea about fiscal responsibility. And as far as the kids in the school goes, I think that it's not necessary to classify every single kid with some sort of disabilities. It becomes ridiculous, okay? I mean, I'm sure there are kids with problems, but not every kid in the school. So I think it's time to stop that too. So let's get somebody in here that's going to get a handle on costs and maybe knock down the cost of the BOE, like maybe a couple $1 million a year, more in line with what it should be. And that's what I'd like to see. So thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Anyone else?
Chuck Cavanaugh, 10 South Brunswick Avenue. I would like to discuss the agreement that you signed with the DEP and then leave you with a couple questions if I could. In short, I think the agreement that you signed is an abomination and a real betrayal of the people. You didn't start my 3 minutes. I won't use the 3 minutes, Mr. Mayor, but you might want to hit the button. I won't use the 3 minutes anyway. 4 months ago you were here, the room was packed, the building was packed, people were mobbed in the streets. How you came from that to 4 months later signing this agreement is beyond me. I think the people were pretty clear in what they wanted and didn't want, and one of the big things they didn't want is you to come to an agreement with the Army Corps and the DEP and outfall pipes. We warned you that they were going to propose outfall pipes before they knew they were going to propose outfall pipes and told you that we didn't want it. How you got to this agreement is mind-boggling, so it's an abomination. The agreement itself is terrible. It's full of nonsense. You agreed in this paper that Margate had a pre-existing drainage problem. That's not true. We had a pre-existing drainage solution. You agreed in this thing that the flooding was caused by this immense rainstorm of this date. That's not true either. The flooding was there prior to that rainstorm, and after they pumped it out, we still had flooding back there. The problem was their engineering. We did not have a problem before. Anyone reading this agreement would come to the conclusion that, wow, that poor town of Margate sure had a huge problem and they got saved by the Army Corps of Engineers. It's really just nonsense. We can't use the beach rake for some reason. That got thrown in there. That's beyond me. Anyway, it's an abomination, and I think you betrayed the people of this town who gave you very clear direction. So I'd like to leave you with two questions, and I'm not asking for an answer right now to me privately. What I'm asking for is you to publicly answer these questions. Number one is why? We didn't get anything in the agreement that we wanted, and we got tons of things we didn't want. So what was your motivation for coming to this agreement? Usually agreement means you got something for it. We didn't. We just got restrictions on what we can do. We codified everything they wanted. So it's a why question is the one. And number two, I believe that ordinance 2001-14 is still in the books here. If I'm wrong about that, let me know. That ordinance, among other things, prohibits the Board of Commissioners from entering into a cooperative agreement that, among other things, to maintain a dune system. How, with that in mind, did you sign a cooperative agreement that requires you to, among other things, maintain a dune system? It appears to me, unless this ordinance has been revoked, that you are in clear violation of the ordinance by signing this agreement. I can't imagine how the wording is almost exactly the same. What you're prohibited from doing is exactly what you did, as far as I read. So those are two questions. Why and how is it legal in light of our ordinance that's on the books? Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, Merry Christmas, by the way.
Thank you, you too.
Can I answer the one question?
Sure.
Chuck, I'll answer the one question. You're referring to maintaining the dune system?
Yes.
That wording doesn't mean we can touch a dune. What that wording means, if there's trash behind the dunes, if there's sand on the crossovers, which are the walkways, the handicap accessible, etc., we're allowed to clean the sand off the I-5 material to keep it in pristine condition. If there's trash that gets collected around the grasses that are grown, by federal law, we're not allowed to touch the dunes. So it's,
And by the agreement you signed, you're not allowed to touch the dunes.
we're not allowed to touch the dunes.
I got that. I understand that.
So maintenance simply means our normal maintenance behind the dunes, in front of the dunes. We're going to empty in trash cans, things of that nature. That's
a separate paragraph. There's a paragraph here that specifically says Margate will be responsible for ongoing routine operation, maintenance, and associated costs of the project between each.
routine operations is our normal stuff we do with our beaches all the time.
Okay.
And why we signed it? We were under court order. We
Signed
went.
an agreement?
No. Judge Baum ruled, and we were in the courthouse when the initial court hearing was. She actually blamed the city of Margate for not solving their drainage problem through the years.
So what?
I understand that.
It still doesn't answer why you signed this agreement.
We signed that agreement so that we could maintain our beaches in a pristine manner during our summer season, even in our off-season. We're still out there working.
No one prevented you from maintaining our beach. There was nothing preventing us from maintaining our beach.
We always maintain our
I might
beach.
be able to
This
help you a little
agreement
bit.
gave you anything you didn't already have.
No, what that agreement gave us is the completion of a drainage system.
Correct, that we didn't want. The people didn't want it. They
Let's,
put it in clear.
Wait, hold on a second.
I might be able to help you and shed light on it. And first off, none of us are happy about it. The agreement's for a storm drainage system to be built, not for a beach replenishment. And fact is, it specifically states we are not obligated to enter into a beach replenishment agreement. We are not obligated to be a part of the Absecon Island shore beach replenishment program. That is for drainage. And as a result of the drainage, they are going to, and I realize they created the drainage problem, but we're looking at, I think, about a 15, I don't know exact, I know it's many millions of dollars to rectify the drainage problem, which I think we could all agree they cause a drainage problem. That's number one. Number two, there's an error about beach raking and all that. That's all subject to, we have to have an approved DEP maintenance program. We can't violate federal law. We can't send a tractor on the sand dunes and level. We can't do that. To answer your question further about the ballot question, we have both a federal judge and a state judge ordering us to permit them to go forward. We sued on the basis of the drainage problem. We therefore ultimately got a commitment from the state and the Army Corps to spend, I believe it's in excess of $15 million to rectify the drainage. Would we rather not have the drainage system? Absolutely. But we couldn't stop the dune project. We had two federal and state court, as you know, you were at.
No doubt.
You do.
This is not about
So-
the dunes. This is about the agreement.
That
itself.
agreement is
I
about
still
the
haven't
drainage
answered your
system.
question. Why? Because we didn't get anything out of it.
Okay.
There's nothing in this
Well,
agreement.
other
that we
than
didn't have
$15 million
before.
of drainage.
But we didn't want that.
I agree
You
that.
tell me, we
I
got
know.
something in this agreement that we didn't want.
Well,
That's why we signed it, because we got
So,
things we didn't want.
Mr. Kavanaugh, let me just ask you this question. Okay, you got two judges ordering it has to go forward. We have to have the dunes.
We
Ordered.
understand that.
We
No
can't
question.
stop that.
Right.
We have a drainage problem. This is the
That's their
solution.
problem.
No, it's
Correct.
our problem.
No, it's
Our-
our-
This is
that's
this is
our-
the
problem they caused
solution.
was our leverage.
I don't want to debate it with you. I'm just going to point it out and ask you if you can.
I realize it's not a debate. I don't mean to be.
I know you're not. You're fired up, so do I sometimes. But the problem is, we had to come to an agreement to rectify the drainage problem. We had our beaches closed off because of 2 or 3 foot of water.
There hasn't been a drop of water since they put the sand back. Since they undid their giant mistake, there hasn't been one drop of water on the beach. The thing of, whenever there's going to be water there, it's an extremely rare event, as you know. It's extremely rare that we got standing water on the beach. Extremely rare. Until they showed up. You know that.
I do
We
know.
could live with that.
I have.
The solution is worse than the problem. So, I mean, I honestly don't have an answer to either one of my questions. But I don't see
I
why you
did the
signed
best
it.
I could.
And I don't see how it's legal. We still have the ordinance on the books. So if nothing else, the ordinance just prevents
Not
you
a
from
beach
signing this agreement.
replenishment.
Right?
Not beach replenishment.
I'm sorry, what?
It's not beach replenishment. The ordinance refers to beach
No,
replenishment.
it doesn't.
This is
The ordinance refers
drainage.
to a dune system, is what it says.
It's not a dune system. It's a drainage.
The project is the dune system. That's what it's
Okay.
called.
No, the
Now, this
project
over
is,
and
You're,
above that.
you're word for word against your ordinance. You go back and look at it.
No.
Believe me, I've parsed this thoroughly. You're word for word in violation of your own ordinance.
I respectfully disagree with you, unfortunately, but my heart's with your
All right.
sentiments.
So we know where
All right,
Okay.
thank you, Chuck. Anybody else? Motion to close public comment, please.
I'll make that motion.
second,
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
We will now open for public comment on resolutions and ordinance adoptions. Is there any public comment? Is there a motion to close public comment?
so moved.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Johanna?
May I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 20, 2017, an ordinance of the City of Margate, City, County of Atlantic, New Jersey, appropriating certain expenditure proceeds of the sale of previously issued bonds to finance the cost of an additional capital improvement to the municipal water and utility system and taking related action.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 238, 2017, authorizing payment and claims?
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 239, 2017, authorizing payments to Colmar Home Center?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
I abstain.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 240, 2017, confirming acceptance of work as completed for 2015-16 road
I'll
program?
make that motion.
Second,
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
I have a motion for resolution number 141, 2017, authorizing tax lien redemption for 9100 Beach, Block 24, Lot 1.1503.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
I have a motion for resolution number 242, authorizing tax lien redemption for Block 28.01, Lot 101.502.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo? Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
I have a motion for resolution number 243, 2017, authorizing tax lien redemption for Block 1002, Lot 11.
Make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 244, 2017, authorizing adopting policies and procedures for the management of federal aid projects?
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Becker,
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg.
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 245, authorizing approval of Margate City FMBA Local 41 Labor Agreement 2018-2021?
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 246, 2017, authorizing approval of Margate City Employees Association Labor Agreement 2018 to 2020?
Make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 247, 2017, authorizing approval of Margate City PBA Local 65 Labor Agreement 2018-2021?
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 248, 2017, authorizing a transfer of budget appropriations?
Make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 249, 2017, authorizing approval of contract with SAR Engineering for grant management service for FEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant Program?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 250, 2017, authorizing approval of contract with Rotella Associates for grant management services for FEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant Program?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 251, 2017, authorizing award of contract for Beach Street Ends Storm Sewer System?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Done? Thank you, Joanne. Anybody have anything else? If not, is there a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.